Mikey, obviously in his last fight, he was supposed to fight at 142 and ended up going up to 147. His previous fight, he did not make the weight. Is there any concern on your part that he's not going to make weight for the fight?
Well, I mean, there is some concern, and that's why I made it clear that I wouldn't go up any higher than 140. But he agreed, his team agreed. It seems like he's confident that he's able to make 140. I think last time he didn't make it, maybe he wasn't, taking it as serious. Maybe he was, coming from, personal issues and problems. So I think now he's probably more focused and ready to regain control of his career and make a big name again. So he should be taking it very serious. And if he feels confident in making 140, then that's great. That only makes for a much better fight. If he's gonna be, training better and preparing himself better, to make the weight, then it'll just make for a better fight.
If some sort of issue does pop up, would you still fight him? I mean, especially if it gets closer to the fight.
Well, we would have to consider options and consider, other factors, to see if it's still something that benefits me. Right now, we targeted 140 pounds. We agreed on 140, so that's what I'm looking at. If later, before the fight, something does come up, other issues, then I'll make a decision at that point.
Okay. Is there language in the contract where if he is heavy that you get some sort of benefit from it, or penalty, or for him?
Well, we discussed some of the things, but there's still some details that need to be finalized. But the fight is on, and we both agreed at 140 pounds.
Yeah. Keith, just to my understanding, there is a weight penalty. We're not going to get into any details, so as you guys heard, Adrien say, he agreed to it without really much problem, because essentially he's very confident he'll make 140 for this big fight.
Okay. Thank you, Stephen. I just have one other question for you, Mikey. Where we, as far as getting unification fights before the Broner fight became a realistic possibility, had other fighters, Linares and I guess, maybe Terry Flanagan, had those fights been very difficult to make at that point, or were you still hoping that those could have been made for the summer?
Well, I still hope we can get something like that before the end of the year, but it just wasn't happening this summer. The Linares, team, said that they would like maybe a fight, a voluntary title defense of his title, just like the WBC had already agreed that it was okay for either one of us to take a voluntary title defense. With Flanagan, I heard it was a very good possibility to get done, but I think he's also got some fights, with a fight with Verdejo possibly as a mandatory, and that's kind of something that we would have to, wait for a result for that fight. So, like I said, it was a little more complicated to be waiting and try to get those unification matches. But Adrien Broner, fight came up, and it was a lot easier to get that than anything else.